Are you ready to learn to get rid of stress in your life? To learn how to deal with the emotional turmoil that causes strokes, heart attacks, bad health, and even weight gain? Life-changing habits for work, family, and everyone you deal with start here with Andrew Whitman. It's time for Get Warrior Tough on WCCP. 105.5 The Roar. Here's Andrew Whitman.
It is time to Get Warrior Tough, the most monumental hour in media anywhere. I'm leadership and mental toughness coach Andrew Whitman, joined by the mighty Lee Harper, hardest working man in radio. What's up, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. Always doing fantastic.
That's so good.
Try to live a positive life.
I love that. Could you give us all the call-in and text numbers, bro?
The call-in numbers is 654-7627, the 654-ROAR. Tattoo it on your brain. And the text line is 986-1566, 986-1566, if you don't have time to stay on the line with us.
That is awesome. And also, if you want to join the conversation on Twitter, you can use the hashtag GetWarriorTough. Also, check us out at www.getwarriortough.com. Like the Andrew Whitman Facebook page, go to the YouTube page and subscribe. There's just a bunch of ways to hook in. Now, look, so this past week, I've been getting a ton of emails and feedback. This thing's about to explode on us. We've got over 1,000 YouTube subscribers. We've got over 1,200 people liking the Facebook page. Folks are subscribing to the newsletter. And so I've gotten a lot of questions, though, about, hey, what's the next step? You know, we love what you're doing. So if you guys go to the GetWarriorTough.com page, a video will pop up of me talking, and then right underneath that, that's the Mental Toughness 101. That's our program that we put out. And we put that, it's 5 audio files. It takes you about 6 hours and a workbook. It's $77. That's the next step. Now, when we do it live and we do it for CEOs, this is high-end content. It costs about $5,000, okay? And it comes with there's a coaching, but it's live. And there's interactive coaching personal with me, okay? So, but we wanted to make it where everybody could get a hold of this information, and it'll walk you through the process. So Mental Toughness 101, just scroll down the page. You can see what other people are saying about it, and it's $77. Click on the Buy Now button. You'll get the audio downloads. Now, listen, I just want to read a couple of emails that I've gotten back from here in the last couple of weeks. So here's one that said, "Hello, Andrew. I've been meaning to email you in the past 2 weeks since I attended your training, but I just haven't taken the time to do so. But as the CEO of me, I decided to take the time and just do it. You know, I was very skeptical of attending the training because in the past I thought they were just a waste of time. Thank you for making me change my mind. I enjoyed the training and I feel I've learned a lot, and now it's just time to start using what I've learned. Thank you again. It was great meeting you. I don't know how to explain it, but your kindness and positive attitude really meant a lot to me. Take care, Sue." Here's another one. "Andrew, have to thank you for the fantastic presentation. I've watched a number of presentations in the course of my career, and you have been the best. The way you presented critical thinking reached everyone, and I found that there was a lot of us that are not nearly the thinkers we thought we were." Right? And so he said, "You mentioned that you could have talked for a week on these topics, and frankly, I would have enjoyed the conversation. If you happen to be coming back this way, please let me know. I'd like to attend. Again, I really enjoyed the training and meeting with you, not to mention your passion for our veterans, Eric." Here's another one. "Andrew, first, let me start and let you know that what an excellent class that you gave. I have been here since 1987, and I just wanted to let you know that that was the best training that I've ever attended. I'm sure that you will be asked to return to do more training because the talk around here and the information that you gave us was so powerful. I have only been at work this morning for 3 hours, and already I've been approached by 3 different people wanting to know what type of information you gave us. I told everybody that they would have to attend your training to find out, but I'm sure the next class that you give will have to be in a larger conference room. You have a lot of people here fired up. Once again, thank you so much for coming, and I enjoyed the class immensely. Michael." All right, guys, so that's just some of the great response I've gotten here just in the last few weeks. And so I just want to shout out to all the audience on CCP, the podcast, the YouTube, it's just and the folks that I see live.
Well, I want to tell you, you have encouraged me to do something that I've wanted to do my entire life, and it has nothing to do with business.
What's that?
Hold on a second.
Oh, we got an incoming call. So Lee's going to get back to us in just a second. But I'll tell you, it's very exciting. Thank you for writing me. Please continue to write, email, text, call. You know, I love getting I'm like Grandma at Thanksgiving when she cooked that great dinner and everyone sits back and they have to kind of like loosen their belt and they go, "Oh, that was so good." That's how I feel when I get a reply like that, and it's just so fantastic. So just keep them coming. All right, Lee, what do you got?
I'm
bud?
sorry, I've got it settled. I'm supposed to set it on
good.
quiet mode before.
All good.
No, there was. It's been a lifetime. I've got my great grandfather his cabin is over here at the botanical gardens, and he was the first person to ever live where Seneca is.
Wow.
And he owned all the land. Well, his cemetery is over there, and it's gone to basically pot, and it's all grown up and everything. It's been my lifelong wish to go and get this made a historical site and cleaned up.
Yeah.
Ever since I've been doing your show, you've encouraged me to find the way to go and get this done.
Wow.
And I've talked to several people, and I'm in the process of doing it. I have found all the information I need, and we're going to get it done.
That is so great, man. See, I didn't even know that I was doing that. It's just
well,
hanging out, man.
You make me think about stuff about, there's if you want something done bad enough, it can be done.
Absolutely.
You got to figure out how to do it.
And how will we do it? Which brings up the 2-minute rule, Lee. Thank you for bringing that up.
That's correct.
Great segue, buddy. All right, so just remember, everybody, when you start hearing that voice on the inside that says that's impossible or that won't work or that's crazy talk, or then we just say, hey, hang on, I know it's impossible, but if it were possible, how would I do it? How would I do it? And that's a great, because we know that the human brain has to answer a question. So we want to give it that great question of how would I do it?
And this is something I've always worried about. It's like, man, I can't get that done. Nobody else has been able to get it done. Well, how can I get it done? Well, I reached out to somebody. I found somebody at Historical Society. I found out Seneca is getting ready to redistrict some spots in Seneca as new historical districts. I've got the information from all the way from the time his father lived here and so on, and got the proof to show him what it is. I went out there. There's 12 slave graves out there.
Wow.
And that needs to be protected.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. So, yeah, that's just good stuff, man. Man, again, I feel like Grandma that just cooked a good Thanksgiving meal. So I love to hear that feedback. It's why I do what I do, is hopefully that your life gets better from having been in contact with me. So please keep the feedback coming, man. I absolutely love it. Now, listen, I want to talk about today the 4 levels of thinking. But before I do, I want to remind everybody that last week we had Craig Miraz on, my friend from Australia, the crisis manager. And one of the bonus videos up there on the YouTube channel was part number 6. I'd encourage everybody to go watch it. It was him telling the story about how his grandfather escaped Soviet Russia pre-World War II. And he was shot twice, and he got out of the Ukraine, and he went into Poland. And then Germany invaded Poland. So he had to get through the German lines, and how he got out of Germany after, as World War II progressed. He actually met a woman in Germany, and that became his wife, and then they had kids, and then they had to get out. And there's a story about how he got out of Germany, and he ended up through the German lines again, go on the other side. Then he ended up in Palestine, and during the late 40, and what it turned into Israel, and then how he got to Australia in the 50s. And it's an amazing, inspirational story. And I would encourage everybody to go to the YouTube channel, listen to that story. It's, man, I love hearing how folks overcome things. And when you listen to a story like that, and Craig tells the story in his Australian accent, so I can't do it justice. But what it does is make me think, you know what? The little thing that I'm going through here is not that big of a deal, and stop complaining. He said, hey, wait a minute, man. This guy, he had to get through out of Soviet Russia. Then he had to get through being invaded in Poland. Then he had to get through the lines again in Germany. Then, it's just on and on and on. So it's just a great story. So I would encourage everybody to go and watch that video on the YouTube channel. I think it's part 6 of the interview from last week. Okay, and it's just really great. So let's talk about 4 levels of thinking. Now, when we're thinking, I break it down into 4 levels. The first level is you're not thinking at all, really. It's just autopilot. You're just going through the motions. You're just on autopilot. You're not really engaged. And we're doing stuff, and we don't even think about it. It's kind of like, have you ever just driven your car home from work, and you don't even remember passing, the Quick Trip or the gas station? Or I don't remember turning left off my exit. You're just on autopilot. And here's another example of being on autopilot. See, someone who is on autopilot, they would just cross the highway with the crowd, not even thinking about it. You're just part of the herd. And you see this in New York City. When the light turns, they're not even looking at the light to say where it's walk or don't walk. We all just go in a big group, just on autopilot. And we see this at traffic lights. Lee, have you ever seen this at a traffic light, where the people they're just not even paying attention, and then when the car in front of them moves, they go. And then, but somebody who's turning left and they don't even realize it, so they almost slam into the car in front of them.
I've actually had somebody hit me in the rear because they weren't paying attention like that.
Right. So, the car on the left-hand side, they see them moving. It's the left arrow. I'm on autopilot, and bam, you hit the car right in front of you. Autopilot thinking. So, yeah. So that's that first level of thinking, autopilot. The next level is negative thinking. Negative thinking.
Bad.
Yeah, well, just everything is going to go wrong. The worst thing that can happen is going to happen. You know, and the negative thinker says, man, if you cross the highway, you're going to get run over. I don't care if you look both ways or not. Whatever the bad thing that could happen, it's going to happen. You know, and I always like to talk about the Goldbergs on that. That's that TV show, The Goldbergs, where the mom is, she always tells you the worst thing that could ever happen. You know, and I'm not telling you, I used to be like this. My wife, when we first got married, Lee, she would say, would you be positive? And I would say, I am positive. I'm positive this ain't going to work. Right? So that's the negative thinker.
George Costanza.
Yeah, you're just do the opposite, man. It's totally
exactly.
Like, oh my goodness. So that's the negative. And a lot, I mean, people, and here's the thing, man. Folks don't even realize that they're in that. It has become a habit, and they're not even aware that they do it. And when you're around a negative person that's not aware of it, it rubs off on you, and next thing you know, you start to adopt that consciousness, that level of thinking, and you become negative because you're around negativity.
I've actually removed some friends out of my life for that very reason, because it was so hard to be around them at times.
Yeah, and
it was nothing positive comes out of their mouth.
Right.
and it's, you know, if you think negative things will happen to you.
Right. So the 11 million bits to the 126 bits,
right,
it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy medically. Electrochemical, your brain will
the
discard.
stress involved with it.
Ridiculous. All right, so then the next level up is the positive thinker. The positive thinker. Now, this is a little better, but it's not where we really want to be, because well, here's what the positive thinker says. I could lay down in the highway, and that semi-truck ain't going to run me over. They'll see, and they'll drive around me. It's like Elf, right? I mean, you ever see the movie Elf? He's a positive thinker.
Yes.
You know, who needs a hug? And then the rabid raccoon, bites him in the neck, right? So now, positive thinking could get you killed. If you lay down in the highway, if you lay down on I-85 and you just think, well, they'll see me, da-doom. I can't believe they didn't see me.
That's the guy that's 10 foot tall and bulletproof.
Right. It's just, well, it's just like, come on, man. It'll get you killed. Now, at no time when I was ever overseas, like in Afghanistan, did I think, hey, the Taliban, who doesn't love Andrew? They'll love me. Who needs a hug? Right? I didn't walk up to them like that. No, I wouldn't have made it home. Okay, so the next level, the highest level, this is where we all should aspire to be. So I want to get out of autopilot. I want to get engaged. I want to get past the negativity, because we know that just drives you down. And like you said, the stress is negative, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you just down. And positive thinking is better. I like to see things positively, and that's one of the things that people say, you're so positive. But not indiscriminately positive. So here's the level we need to get to, as the critical thinking level. I want to be a critical thinker. And a critical thinker, what they do is they identify and evaluate evidence. This is what we do. We identify and evaluate evidence, and we use that as a guide in our decision making. So what a critical thinker would say, now, the autopilot person, they're just going to cross the highway when everybody else goes. When the other cars start, then I'm going to go. The negative thinker says, hey, man, the negative thinker, if we get out on the highway, we're going to get hit. The positive thinker says, if I lay down in the highway, hey, they'll miss me. Someone will see me and they'll swerve. But the critical thinker says, I'm not even going to go onto the highway and take a risk unless there's a higher value reason. I have to have a big reward that matches the risk that I'm going to take. And I'll take a huge risk, but there has to be a higher value reason than the risk to take it.
Not just going blindly.
No, you ain't running off a cliff.
You don't want to just cross. You want to just cross a road just to get to the other side.
Right, and see, now a positive thinker will run off a cliff. So a positive thinker is like, this is great. And so they'll make an emotional decision thinking that this is great. It's always sunshine and flowers and waterfalls. And I'm here to tell you, it ain't.
That's where the pyramid schemes come in. They pump you up with all the positive thinking. And
we do like we like it,
well,
but we have to have critical thinking where we say, hey, let me identify and evaluate the evidence behind your claim.
Right.
Okay, so you're exactly right. I want to see the evidence behind your claim. So, and now the interesting thing is that along with that comes different levels of mindsets. And when we come back from the break, we'll talk about different levels of mindsets. Okay? And so I'm excited about this. This is going to be a great show. If you go call two friends right now and tell them, hey, this is transformational, mind-blowing stuff, and it'll make your life better. And we'll be right back after the break.
80% of all doctor visits are stress-related. 80% of tension headaches are caused by stress. Most heart attacks occur around 9 a.m. on Monday. Stress is a major factor of anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and aggression, not to mention insomnia. And an estimated 24 million Americans use drugs to cope with stress. Depressing, isn't it? You're meant to live a happy, fulfilled life, and it is possible. Andrew Whitman can show you the way out. The way to deal with stress, to achieve, to break through limitations, and have an internal identity that calms the storm. Whether it's work or home, financial or emotional, get the tools you need to cope with the obstacles life brings you and still have peace. Mental training one-on-one will help you get what you want out of life. Visit GetWarriorTough.com to see testimonials from people just like you. Take control of stress. GetWarriorTough.com.